Hey, what's up to all of our listeners out there? This is your boy Mike Jones, and I'm back. And I have an interview for you guys with the man who really needs no introduction. He is the man in gospel music. He's a singer, songwriter, producer, arranger, the man everyone wants to collaborate with, the one and only Mr. Donald Lawrence. Donald, man, how are you?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm doing fine as well. Before we do start the interview, there's two things I actually want to say. I want to congratulate you on one thing and give you kudos on the other. The first thing is congratulating you on your 20 years being in the gospel industry. And then the second thing I want to give you a kudos for, on Monday, we were in the building for Karen's live recording, and, I tip my hat to you. That show was amazing. Like, you really did that on that day. So I just wanted to get that out the way before we got started.
Thank you, my friend. I appreciate that.
No problem. First of all, let's talk about this album that you have coming up, which is on September the 24th. You're going to put out the first of the two albums for the Donald Lawrence 20-year celebration, which will be Volume 1, Best for Last. Tell us, what kind of feel were you going for with this album, or did you have a message behind the songs that you decided to select for the album, including the new ones and the ones that you revamped?
Well, my central theme definitely was the grace and the rest. So that's what my central theme was. But when it comes to the choice of songs, it was just songs that I knew I wanted to. First of all, I enjoyed the artist's performance on. I enjoyed the stories behind when I wrote the songs and they sang them, if there was a song I originally wrote for them, and just our connection. And then secondly, just what the song said. I think that I tried to make sure that the whole album had some line of continuity, that the music was definitely either started in a praise place and then powered you later on into the CD.
And I know that you have a lot of people on the album that you collaborated with who you probably are fans of yourself. Like you said, you work with people that you like. Could you tell us some of the people that you have, the special guests that are featured on the project?
Oh, yeah. I'm fans of everybody that's on my project. On the project, it features Coco from SWV, Kelly Rice, Faith Evans, Layla Hathaway, Natalie Grant, who's a big CCM star, Ted and Sherry, they're like my little brother and sister. I've known them for years. Also, it featured my group of singers, the company, and my cousin. It was our first collab. He's a hip hop soul artist. His name is Rudy Curran, and I was really, really glad for us to be able to come together and do a collab. We'll probably do a lot of things in the future together.
Now, the people that you just named, are they featured only on the first volume of the project, or is that total from the first one and the second?
This is just the first volume of the project. The total collab is definitely Karen Clark, Nessa Armstrong, Hezekiah Walker, Kiara Sheard, and then a few others will be joining me on Volume 2. And also on Volume 1, which is who actually sang the title cut, was Yolanda Adams. This was our first collab on a record.
Now, I may be jumping ahead of myself a little bit, but have you decided on what you wanted to title the second volume and when it would be released?
I haven't decided when it will be released, but I think we're going to call it The Celebration Continues.
Let's talk about this song that you put out, which is in the top 5 on Billboard, The Gift. Could you kind of tell us a little bit about that, and what is your definition of The Gift?
Oh, The Gift is the first single from this project. It was actually inspired by my pastor, Pastor Winston. One Wednesday I was at Bible, and people hear me say it all the time, but a lot of times I just get a lot of ideas from just being in study. Also, Pastor Dollar, he did a very, very in-depth teaching on grace. And so between the two of them, speaking on gifts and grace, that's kind of where I came up with that song from, just understanding, all the sides of grace and what grace has done for us, that it is unmerited favor, but it also is a divine enablement, and that our gift is our grace, and God has graced us to be successful in an area, and that's why he says our gifts will make room for it, because it's given to us to allow us to live a blessed life, and we have to learn to honor what our grace is, and as opposed to seeing someone else's grace and wanting to operate in it when it's not our grace, it's their grace. And nobody can wear your grace better than you. So your grace is your gift, and your gift will make room for you. So thus I came up with the song, The Gift Looks Good on You. you wear it well. God has graced you, and you wear it well. And that's kind of the overall concept. Also, just knowing the business, especially the music business, and really a lot of businesses, but music business can really make people doubt their gifts.
Right.
Just because, you know, if you're not number one, or if you're not some, you know, gold or platinum records, people will start making you feel like that your gift is not valuable. But everyone's gift is valuable. And, you know, they need to learn to honor that, because it's put here for a reason. And the reason why we have them is to inspire people. It was never put here to sell records or to be at the top of charts. That's what you get. That's just one of the benefits that come with it. But the real deal is our gift was sent here to inspire and to empower and to reclaim the world and make it a mirror picture of heaven. And I just wanted to remind everybody the real source of our gift.
Have you ever felt any type of pressure or felt like you had to make a song a certain way to try to be number one, or is that something that you never even consider when you put your songs and your projects or even your collaborations together?
You know what? I think I did that once, and I didn't like it. And and that's it's going to be funny. It's going to be a really funny story, because it's a record that everybody likes, but I don't think it was a record that shows my interest.
Well, what song was it?
It was the Bible Stories album. I think that the Bible Stories album, it's everybody's favorite album, but I feel like I lightened the depth and the weight that I speak about on a lot of the songs to be commercial. And I didn't like the fact that I let the industry do that to me. My first record was Songwriter's Point of View, and it was pretty intricate. And so I felt like, well, it did okay. Maybe I'm too complicated, maybe I'm too progressive, but it was who I was. And I always thought, like, when you just do, ingenious things, people just go, but sometimes in the music business, simple is better. And Bible Stories, I said, let me simplify everything. So in order to at least appease my creative intellect, I weaved it into a theatrical piece, which really, really soothed that part of me of being, creative. But I kind of tried to make sure that the songs were a little bit more simpler, which was fine, but it really wasn't me. So after that, I just went back to just being me and just writing how I feel. And so I think there's a way that you can find a way to have a lot of depth, but at the same time be able to explain to where anyone could get it. And that has been my path since then. So now I don't really I just write what I feel.
And usually they turn out to be the songs that the people can, or actually do, connect with the most, because you're speaking directly to them. Instead of, putting out something that will do good on the charts and do good on radio. And, of course, people will like it, but they may not connect with it more so than it was something that you just wrote from your heart.
Exactly. And I'm not saying that I didn't write Bible stories from my heart. I'm just saying that for me, I feel like I simplified my writing skills to fit a formula, and I did not like doing that. I've never been that. I've always been the odd one. I've always been the one on the left side of the page in my own path, and I enjoy being that. That's just who I uniquely am, and I prefer to just do that. And when I write from that place, whoever's supposed to get it, that's who will get it. Right.
Okay, now I know you did your live recording back in June in Chicago, and live recordings kind of are like, for the audience member or the people that attend, it's kind of like a preview of the album or the project. So when you're doing the recording, were there any songs that you can physically see people receiving the most, or kind of songs that people were like into, which would kind of be like fan favorites on the album, or they just loved it all?
You know what? I try to make people, whenever you think about the lyrics of the thing first and not necessarily the performance of it, it usually connects right away. But most of the time, I'm always thinking about what the song is saying. So it seems like everybody connected from song one to the last song. It was more about what the song was saying as opposed to the performance, and that's always better.
Is it harder for you to, because you did your own recording, and then, we saw you on Monday at Karen's recording. Is it harder to do your own recording and have everything go how you want it to go, or is it harder to kind of oversee someone else's recording and run someone else's recording? Which one do you think kind of gives you more trouble to run smoothly?
No, you know what? All of them are a lot of our work. I ain't going to say labor, but they're work. They're work. You have to work. You have to do it. But one thing that I strive for is, because I know it's really a stretch for another artist to trust their craft in another artist's hands.
Right.
When I work with artists, I kind of give them more than I give myself. I try to give them 175 to 200 just to let them know that I don't take it for granted that they're trusting their gift in my hands. That's what I've been assigned to do. It's very, very, very important to me. So usually I go even further when I'm working on someone else.
Because at the end of the day, you know, even though it is someone else's recording, your name is still going to be tied to it. So, of course, you would.
That's true, but it ain't even that for me. It's the trust factor that they've trusted their gift in my hands. That's the big thing for me. It ain't even, because if I start thinking about my name on it, is again putting the light back on me, and that's not where I am when I'm working with another artist. I have the light on them, and I'm there as a support for them to rest on. So it ain't even really about my name. It's really about their name and about their trust that I got them, and they don't have to worry about it.
Of course, everybody knows that your first album you came out with the Tri-City Singers. Now you're doing, you know, your 20-year celebration. Will those singers be featured on this project at all?
Tri-City Singers sang on 2 songs. They sang on There Remaineth the Rest, the up-tempo version, and they sang on Best for Last, the title cut with Yolanda Adams. And on the Volume 2, they'll sing more. It'll be a lot more Tri-City on that particular. Okay,
what was it like reuniting with the guys back in the studio?
You know what? We went in, and in about 20 minutes, the chemistry kicked right back in, and it just was amazing. We had fun. It was like a big reunion. We're just family for life.
So let's talk about this tour that you're going to do, you know, promoting the album and everything like that. Seeing that you have a couple cities listed, so could you kind of tell us a few of the cities that you're going to hit and what we can expect to see from you on stage?
Well, on the tour, it's really going to be a little bit more of a Q&A, talking about my journey, show some clips from a docu-film that we did behind the scenes. Do a couple of songs, actually, as well, and just talk about the journey more so, and just and where the songs come from. You know, just the story behind the song.
Yeah, I think that's cool, too. It's kind of more like so people can hear you explain and talk about your journey and everything. First is just having a concert where it's kind of less formal, but, like, you know, the way you just explained it's going to be more of an intimate thing where you're explaining your thought process and the things you've done over the years. So I definitely think that's going to be a cool show. And I also know that you are getting ready to go into the 6th season of Verizon House Feeds the Sound, right?
Yeah, actually, I can't believe it went by so fast. 6 years, wow.
How has that been for you? Have you ever, you know, seen a choir that you just were like, oh, you know what, I need this singer from that choir, or I want to work with this choir, or something like that? Or has anyone, like, blown your socks off, or you were just so amazed? I know you are a guy that likes choirs and everything, so it would be kind of hard to impress someone of your stature. But has there been any groups where you just were just blown away, like, wow?
Oh, I've seen really a lot of choirs that were just amazing. I think one of the choirs that I was most impressed with, not that they were just, not that it's not been equally good choirs or even better, was this choir out of, it was St. Mark's Church out of Little Rock, Arkansas. I was just very impressed with their blend. It was just an amazing blend. And they were a church choir with just regular church choir singers, not a choir full of soloists. That choir director there must be just amazing, because their vocal blend was just really, it just blew me away. I kept saying, do you hear that blend? But it's been great choirs, and just all around, and I've enjoyed for many different reasons. So I can't say that there is one in top choir, but that particular choir stood out.
Well, Donald, I want to thank you for taking your time out to do this interview with me today. Donald Lawrence, 20-year celebration, Volume 1, Best for Last, in store September the 24th. Is there anything else that you want to let us know about this album, or any last few words explaining to people why this album will bless them, or why they need this in their playlist, in their CD player, anything?
Well, if anything, I would want them to I think they'll enjoy the performances. I think they're enjoying what we have to say. But most importantly, I want them to really, really be inspired to honor who they are. So if anything, get it for the gift, because I want them to start honoring who God called them and made them to be, and realize that everyone is special and God wants success for everyone.
How can your fans and your supporters stay in contact with you and stay updated with all the latest news that is Donald Lawrence?
On Twitter at Donald Lawrence.
Mm-hmm.
My website is donaldlawrence.com. On Facebook, Donald Lawrence. Instagram at Donald Lawrence.
All right, man. Again, I want to thank you. I'm definitely, I've already previewed the album, but I'm definitely anticipating the people hearing this project from you. I know that they're going to be blown away, and I wish you all the best. Hopefully I'll see you when you hit the road for the tour. Again, thank you, my brother.
All right, thank you as well.
All right, Donald, have a blessed day.
You as well.